Sounds good.
Okay, we are recording. Hello, everybody. I want to, this is Jasmine Siemon with Tanjay Wellness, and I would like to introduce this awesome person that I have met. It's been taking us a few weeks to get together because we're both busy and we're on different time zones, on different coasts. But this is Alyssa, and I'd love for you, Alyssa, to introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, I'm Alyssa. I am currently a trained Cuddlist practitioner, and I've been on the platform since October. And the first thing that got me, the first thing that I learned, like the way that I learned about this profession was actually through an interview that Samantha Varneren did in Penny Hoarder, which is a money saving blog. And the more I learned about it, the more I felt called to it. And I actually got sick a couple of years ago, and I had to take a break from doing the work. I initially started through Snuggle Buddies, and it wasn't the right fit. And I started the Cuddlist training and then had to take a break, and then I just came back to it. And I've been sick with an autonomic nervous system disorder, and that's actually made me feel more called to do the work because it's so beneficial for my condition, and it's just helped me understand how physical touch is so important in mental and physical health, and how it can really reach people with a variety of conditions in a variety of places in their life. It's just very primal, very nurturing, and just seeing how much it's helped me personally and everything that I've had to go through for my own health journey, my own personal recovery has it's just made me feel very, very called to share my experience and to use that experience to connect with other people and to do work that actually is really important, work that has a really beneficial impact, and work that I can actually do. Like, it helps me feel valuable, helps me feel called and just have a purpose. And I'm just so honored to be a part of this community, this wonderful community of cuddlists and professional cuddling practitioners. And I'm excited to get into this body scan meditation with you, Jasmine.
Yeah, I love that you said this because it's an amazing group of cuddlers. Cuddlist is incredible. All of the support and I want to say dedication that everybody shares with one another is
Yeah, we
it's so
build each other
helpful.
up.
Yeah, there's this bit of camaraderie that we all kind of share and tap into. And so it's wonderful how often so many people are within the cuddling community, practitioners that are out there willing to reach out and help somebody and just give advice, especially with new practitioners coming into the industry. Because a lot of people who started way back when, 2015 and 16, it was kind of like, roll of the dice and try to see what works and doesn't work. And, there wasn't really a lot of information out there or experienced people. And so
Definitely, yeah.
it's really nice to kind of have this group. So I totally love that. Yeah. So initially we contacted, or we were talking probably on Cuddlist, the Cuddle group, or Facebook Cuddlist group, Club Cuddlist? Yeah, sorry. One of those things about mindful meditation. So one of the things that I practice, what I often tell clients, the only mandatory thing within my sessions is a mindful or a body scan meditation, and that's based off mindfulness meditation. And this is something that I initially started doing to protect myself. So when I first started doing this, people would come to see me and they would share whatever was going on in their life. It could be abuse in a marriage, trauma from childhood, insecurity, whatever it is, stress, feeling unappreciated at work. And what ended up happening is I would start to internalize this information, because I don't have 10,000 hours of, I'm not a licensed therapist, so I don't have 10,000 monitored hours with somebody teaching me how to listen to these things. And people could say, oh, well, it's common sense, but for me, it was not common sense. And so I would end up internalizing this information and taking it home with me to my kids and my partner, and be like, oh God, this woman, she's going through something really difficult. And, and I'd sit there and even just kind of think about it while I would be working out, running or whatever. And I remember talking to a friend of mine, Visa Shemanuga, she's a life coach. And I was like, I don't know, sometimes I'm just really exhausted after my sessions, and I sit there and I think about the problems of the clients. And she's like, well, Jasmine, I love her. She goes, well, aren't you protecting yourself, like grounding yourself before these sessions? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean grounding myself, protecting me? And so she's like, you got to find something. So it could be singing, exercise, it could be whatever your thing is to do to protect yourself before you go into these sessions. And so I tried a bunch of different stuff. Nothing really worked. And then I found that meditation worked. And so I started meditating before sessions. And then I had the idea, well, why don't I bring the client in with me while I do this meditation? And I found that it was incredibly beneficial to them, because a lot of the people who were coming to see me had never meditated before a day in their life. Some of them have never had massages or ever tried yoga or any of these more holistic-y things as I see them. And so they were like, we would do a meditation and they would step out of it saying, wow, that was incredible. I feel much more relaxed coming in here. Often, especially with new clients, as I'm sure you know, they might be a bit apprehensive, not sure what to expect, a little nervous, scared. And so with this body scan meditation, it kind of relaxes all of that. So that's initially why I started doing this with clients. Now, what's your experience with meditation?
So I've had to get into it a fair bit for my personal recovery. But I've noticed, I think it ties into my past trauma from childhood experiences of that it's very difficult for me to get into that space when I'm alone. But when I'm with somebody else, even if we're not necessarily physically touching at the time, that somehow that interaction of that energy helps me let go. And I'm not sure, I'm still exploring what that's about. But I definitely have this fear and this avoidance of wanting to listen to my body, to listen to what it's telling me, and to be very grounded in myself. And so I think that, so I experienced some narcissistic abuse growing up, and that kind of put me in, like, that conditioned me that I always need to be on and performing, and that I'm not allowed to feel what I'm feeling. I have to feel what I'm expected to be feeling, if that makes sense. Like, I can only express myself in this particular way that meets certain requirements just in order to receive, like, to get basic needs met. And so I'm definitely just trying to build up that self-worth and self-love in myself, and get to the place where it's normal and natural, and it feels right and good to just be in my body and to be very true to myself in the moment.
Yeah, and that's really important, that in the moment part of it, what's coming up, what does this relate to, and just exploring all of that. And so then the meditation has been able to help you kind of hone in and focus on these things that you're going after, that you're trying to get clarity
definitely
on. Oh, very cool.
But I haven't done a body scan meditation. I've done some basic mindfulness meditation. I
Mm.
do something similar, I think, in my sleep relaxation practice before I go to sleep every night. But I'm really interested to see your take on it, to see how you walk through it.
Mm. Okay. You know, when I was littler and I would, littler, when I was a child, I would have a hard time falling asleep. And so my mother would come in and she'd sit with me and she'd be like, okay, no, we're going to go. And it was pretty much what I kind of do with my clients, only she would guide me through going through my body and telling myself to go to sleep. Okay, we're going to start with your head, or we'll start at your toes. And we're going to tell your toes, okay, it's time to relax. We're going to sleep now. And now let's work your way up to your knees. Tell those knees it's time to go to sleep. No, tuck them in. Okay, let's keep going up, you know? And so we would do this and she would take me through until, you know, it was obviously really relaxed, because when you hear someone talking like this and they're talking to you, we're talking about sleep and maybe rubbing my back while we're doing it. It obviously relaxed me when I'm 8 years old. And so then I was able to fall asleep. And so what I end up doing with my clients, and we'll go ahead and start this, is the body scan. I took a mindfulness-based stress reduction course, and it's a 6-week course with a silent, 1-day silent retreat. And it really helped me. Like, that was the longest I've ever meditated. I think it was for 45 minutes. I've never meditated longer than that in my life. And it was tough. It was tough to get to kind of come to terms with quieting my mind, focusing on breath, or if we were doing the rain meditation or whatever meditation it was. But for like after 15 minutes, I just wanted to get up and scream and run around the room. That was my thing. And after I kind of pushed through that, which it took me maybe 5-10 minutes to push through that, and then I finally kind of, my body or my mind gave in, and I was able to relax the rest of the time. But that was really difficult. And so if you're ready, we can do it. And what I'd like to do is maybe do the meditation. How long do you usually meditate?
So ideally it would be for 40 minutes, but it more often ends up being 20 minutes.
Okay, well, we're going to do a much shorter one than that.
Yeah, we don't have that time.
Okay, yeah, we'll do like I was thinking like a 10-minute meditation.
Sounds good.
Now, typically when I do this with my clients, since it's part of the time that they're there, I shorten it. It ends up being like 5 minutes,
Yeah,
because
that makes
obviously
sense.
they're not there to meditate. They're there to get touch. But it really helps to get to that place for the touch. So I'm just going to set my little timer. Oh, I wish I was more prepared. I don't know how to turn that off. I don't know how to make it so it's just the timer, but we'll see. Okay. All right. So first we're going to get in a comfortable seated position. I'm going to close my eyes because it helps me to stay focused. And we're going to do a shoulder roll. You're welcome to close your eyes as well if you'd like. As we do the shoulder roll, we're going to inhale, lifting our shoulders up. And as we exhale, we're going to roll them back down, rolling them up and back. So let's do 2 of those. Now imagine there's a string at the top of your head pulling you upright. Elongating your spine, pulling your ears away from your shoulders, allowing your shoulders to fall to the side. And we're going to bring our awareness to our mind's eye. Any thoughts, apprehensions, things that happened last week, things that are to happen this weekend, allow them to take your thoughts, take your attention away from the meditation. And when you're ready, organically bring your focus back. And what we want to make sure that we do is be gentle with ourselves. It's difficult to keep our mind focused. That also goes for any distractions that we hear outside in our environment. Car doors slamming, people talking, sirens. Allow them to distract you, and then gently bring yourself back to focus. Let's start with our head, bringing our awareness to our scalp and our ears, our face. And what we're looking for is sensation. Any tingling, maybe some ringing, and perhaps tension in your face. A furrowed brow, clenched teeth, squinting eyes to shut, pursed lips. If you notice any of these things, try to relax the muscle. If you're unable to, just be aware of it. Know that it's there. And the same thing, any tingling or itching on your scalp, any sounds we hear in our ears. We're just going to be aware of these sensations. Let's continue down through our throat and our neck, rounding our shoulders. And again, we're looking for sensation, heaviness, maybe tenderness. Let's move on down, sliding through our arms, curving our elbows, coming down through our wrists out to our fingertips. And again, we're looking for the sensation, both internally and externally. The bend in the elbow, the weight of your arms, placed either on your chair or on your lap. Feeling the length of your arms. Perhaps some pressure in your fingertips, warmth in your palms, maybe coolness. Now let's go back up. We're going to go back through our hands, following our arms up and around our shoulder. And we're going to drop down through our torso. Along the way, we're going to check in with our chest and our upper back, curving through our shoulder blades, coming down to our stomach and our middle back. Feeling the spine holding us up. Continuing down through our abdomen, our lower back, down to our sit bones. And all the sensation we feel along the way. And maybe one side of your sit bones are heavier than the other. Maybe not. Now, let's swim out through our thighs, feeling them pressed up against the chair. And again, maybe the weight of your arms and hands placed on them or pressed against them. Coming down to our knee. Feeling the bend like a waterfall. And swan diving down from your knee, through your shin and your calf, passing your ankle down to the heel of your foot. And maybe the weight of your leg and your heel. Maybe numbness in your calf you may feel. And now, let's walk over all those tiny little bones in your foot. Extending through to your toes. And searching for sensation. And right now, I invite you to do 2 falling out breaths with me. A falling out breath is when you inhale, and as you exhale, you make an audible sound. I often imagine, as I inhale my breath into my lungs, that air soaking up any negativity, any anxiety, frustrations, and I exhale them out of my body, out of my mind, through my breath, removing them. We can do 2 of those now, if you'd like. Ah. Ah. Now, let's head back up. Again, we're going to walk over all those tiny little bones in our foot. We're going to climb up our calf and our shin, coming to our knee, swimming back across our thigh, climbing up our torso, using our shoulders and our face to pull ourselves back up to the top of our head, where that strength sits waiting for us. And now that we've done this body scan, I hope you feel a little more relaxed, a little more grounded, centered and focused. So when you're ready, wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe shake your head. And slowly bring your awareness back to the room. And in your own time, open your eyes. So that is my body scan meditation that I do with clients. What I don't do in those meditations with clients is ask them what comes up for them during the meditation, during the scan. Because I don't think it's a place to do that. If I were to ask them what comes up with this touch, or if anything came up during the meditation, it's usually during session, once we're, touching. So, how do you feel?
I'm having a lot of tension and pain, and I'm feeling like it's okay, that I can accept my body as it is right now, even if I'm not feeling ideally. I'm still taking care of myself.
Did new pain come up for you? Or
Not
was
new
it
pain,
all the
but
stuff
I think I have this, I don't know what to term it, but sort of just this bracing against it that I normally am always carrying. And that allowed me to sort of feel safe enough to bring that down, to let it fall away, and to just be with the sensations in my body.
Right. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Now, how does it differ from the body scans that you do with yourself or other people?
So rather than it being about taking my mind's eye, my presence, and imagining it being in each of those parts of the body,
Mhm.
it's more of just being present in my body in general, and overall sensations of feeling lighter or feeling heavier. And then a progression of tensing each of the muscle groups in my body and relaxing them, and then tensing all of
Mm.
them at once and relaxing them.
Ah,
And deep breathing.
during the tensing of your muscle, breathing deeply during that part, or when you release, or throughout like the whole?
Yeah. So inhaling when I tense, and then exhaling to relax.
Oh, I see. Okay. Hmm. It's really interesting. And that helps you. I'll have to try that one. I've never done that, where I tense my muscles and then relax them. Yeah. So I have the same things. I have a lot of lower back pain, and I get this odd, like stabby pain in my side, on my left side. That usually is from whatever nerve is being pinched.
Do you want to open the gallery of edward.ari@gmail.com?
Turn off Alexa.
Alexa, turn off.
I'm not able to do that. Would you like to
She's not turning off.
Rebellion.
At least she didn't speak up while we were in the meditation.
Yeah, but I had an alarm I didn't realize was still on my phone go off, and I felt bad.
I didn't hear it.
Luckily it happened like far enough through the meditation, and the snooze is long enough that I could wait till the meditation was over to turn the alarm off, because I can't just swipe it away. I have to click on it and go to the alarm app and then turn it off and then come
Oh.
back. So I had to wait till the end to do that. And I was just sitting there
Oh.
like, I hope it doesn't go off again.
Well, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, well, that's good.
Oh, I'm sorry that it was just it distracted you.
No, it's my own fault.
If it makes you feel any better, I set the timer for 10 hours instead of 10 minutes. So we would have been here for a while. We're breaking records here.
Wow, that was a really long meditation.
Right.
I'm hungry now and thirsty.
So out of curiosity, do you do anything to, before your sessions with your clients, like either watch a meditation or do some breath work or anything like that?
I just do like a very short grounding, like just some deep breaths, like 10 deep breaths, and I just, what's the phrasing I use? I have a note on my phone that I read, but it's basically just allowing my focus, my consciousness to be present in my physical body and be grounded in the present moment, and feel the connection between the present and eternity, if that makes sense. Like being outside of time, timeless. And I feel like that helps me let go of any emotional energy, any like negative thoughts that I might be carrying that I'm not realizing. And yeah, and that just lets me be fully present rather than being anxious about the social interaction or about meeting this new person or about performing. It allows me to just be and just accept myself and where I'm at right in that moment, so that I'm not bringing anything to that interaction with the client that would detract from their experience, energetically speaking.
Right.
But I'm really glad that we did this, because I want to start doing this before sessions. And my thing is that I want to do stuff like this in sessions, but I've noticed some resistance to being like grounded and fully present. I think it's really hard for most people to do that. Some people practice it already, and so they feel comfortable doing it. But for some people, it's like it's so hard just being in the space of being willing to have that touch and that connection, that like trying to do more just feels overwhelming. But I think that it's like it's one of those things that you have to push through, and then once you commit that time and energy to this practice, this grounding and this being present in your body, that it becomes even better and even easier on the other side of that than it would be if you didn't go
Absolutely.
through it. You have to go through it to be able to let it go.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very valuable. It's worth it. It's worth the time and the energy to go through it, I think.
I agree.
So,
That's what
I'm still working on how to communicate that to clients in like a positive, constructive way that invites them rather than pushing them away or shaming them. Or I don't want to even try to. I want to find a good way of communicating it before trying to implement it as a regular thing. So
Well, I think the way that you just
think more about
explained it. What was that?
Oh, I don't know.
I think the way that you explained it to me was really good. I mean, it made sense and it felt more of an invite than kind of like what I tell my clients. I tell clients, I'm like, well, this is the only mandatory thing that you have to do.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
more of
making it
me
mandatory.
telling them what needs to happen as opposed to inviting them to do it and having the option to say yes or no. And most of the time, for clients that I've been seeing for a while, if they come in and they're just like, I don't have the bandwidth for meditation right now. I really don't want to do this. And I'm like, fine, we don't have to. But this is only after they've done it with me and they've experienced it and they know kind of what to expect. And sometimes we've had hard days and sometimes we just want to be held. We don't want to have to be mindful. We just want touch and acceptance, like you said, as
exactly.
we are.
There's so much value in just accepting someone where they're at. And maybe they're not at a place right now where they feel like that will help them. And if they don't think and they don't feel that that'll help them, then there'll just be that resistance there and it won't really reach them. It won't really help them if they're feeling that amount of pushback against doing it.
Yeah, agreed. So far, it's always been positive things. There's one client who says that they imagine a Tinkerbell, a light that it's like that, like a light in their head that's focused. And as they go down to their ears and they check in with their face and it's just a light. And then it kind of just hovers here when we're at our shoulders and then it drops down. And it's
That's
like,
such a beautiful visualization.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
I was having trouble visualizing that for myself. That's a good idea. I'll try that one next time.
Yeah. It was really cute. And they're always like, okay, time for the Tinkerbell, Tinkerbell meditation, which is awesome. Yeah. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for meeting me. Unfortunately, I have to get going. I have to wrap up.
Yeah, it's about that time, right?
It is about that time. But per your suggestion, I'll totally post this on the Cuddles and Collaboration. Because I think it'll be, definitely helpful for other people to see this. And also just kind of think about how they want to, start their grounding or bring the client present in the moment. It's just one idea. There's tons of other things that people do. So, yeah. And also thank you for working with me throughout all the scheduling mishaps.
Well, I knew that was something that was worthwhile, so it was worth whatever we had to do to figure out a good time. So.
Oh, good. Well, I thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. So.
Okay, thank you so much too. It was a great experience.
Oh, good. Yay.